So the 90s? That was a wild time, my friend. The economy was good. The internet was still a novelty and not woven into the fabric of our existence. Hollywood movies were at an all-time high. Kids were kids. You scheduled your evening around primetime TV, not the other way around. Back to the Future 2 still took place in the future and not the past. It's Back to the Past future. Me personally, I was making GeoCities fan pages for all of my boyhood crushes. When you said 30 years ago, it meant the 60s, not the 90s. And 12-year-old me could watch the BME Pain Olympics unsupervised because my parents didn't know how the internet worked. It was wacky, but it was arguably the best decade we've had in a long time. And to get serious on you for a second, after we as a community of humans experienced the collective trauma that was 9/11, everything changed. And it's likely never going back. The best thing that those of us who lived through it can do is access those memories through music, TV shows, video games, movies. And in this video, I'm gonna share with you 6 of my favorite MetaQuest 2 games that will help you relive or experience for the first time that decade known as the 90s. Let's go. So the first game on my list is one that you may have played in the past. It's known as Rez Infinite. This game is fucking weird, guys. I do not expect everybody to like this. So this is why it's number 6 on my list. But I do want to put it in here because there might be other weirdos like me out there who are looking for this same kind of experience. So this is actually an older game, at least the original was, for the PlayStation and stuff. Rez is a musical rail shooter developed by United Games artists and published by Sega for the Dreamcast and PlayStation 2. It was released in Japan in 2001, followed by releases to the United States and Europe in 2002. This gives me all of the 90s vibe. She's giving me Lawnmower Man realness with a dusting of hackers and a dash of arcade. Did anyone else see that movie? No? Just me? Cool. This is less of a game and more of a experience. A wild ride through some intense and trippy landscapes that's addicting as fuck. Honestly, if you buy this game on my recommendation and don't like it, don't blame me. I'm warning you right now. Not everyone's gonna love this. But if you're looking for some 90s inspired cyber hacking feelings with some sweet techno music that fits perfectly with the game, this is for you. But let's say you're looking for something a little bit more rhythm based. Look no further than our next game, Moonrider. Now I can't pinpoint exactly why this gives me 90s vibes. Maybe it's the colors, the tone of the pinks and grays, the minimalist environment, but yeah, I get a full-on sci-fi retro feeling from this. The game itself is a Beat Saber knockoff. Don't tell me in the comments that it is because I know this. It's just a free Beat Saber knockoff. No subscription, no nothing. It's slower, a bit clunkier, and not nearly as fun, but it gets the job done if you're looking for a large library of music with similar mechanics to Beat Saber. I highly recommend checking this out and jamming out to some sweet 90s tunes as well. Five Nights at Freddy's. Whew. Let me start by saying I am 39 years old and I just started playing it. And I'm not gonna pretend like I know shit about it. My students at the school that I teach at have loved this game for years. And they talk about it as if it's a real thing. I don't know much about it, like I said earlier, but I do know that the jump scares will get you. They got me. They'll fucking get you too. So this isn't a pure Five Nights at Freddy's. This is actually the first 4 games and a couple bonus features. It takes you to an old Freddy Fazbear, which is basically Chuck E. Cheese for us old heads. And the characters go into free roaming mode at night, which means they come alive. And if they see you, they kill you. According to one Redditor, Five Nights at Freddy's takes place at either 1992 or 1998. So boom, 90s. But honestly, is there anything more 90s than a Chuck E. Cheese? Don't act like you old fuckers never had a birthday there before. I had 3, I think. It was basically pizza that tasted like cardboard, served by teenagers making minimum wage. And back then, minimum wage was, well, about the same now. You would play in disgusting plastic ball pits that were rarely cleaned, and those balls are probably now having detrimental effects to the environment in some landfill as we speak. You would earn tickets to buy things like GAC and koosh balls and pogs. Man, what a time to be alive. But if you want to visit an old Chuck E. Cheese and possibly shit your pants, I would recommend Five Nights at Freddy's. It has an unusual gameplay style that takes some getting used to. In fact, since I had never played it before, I totally fucked up the first couple times and had no clue what to do. All you have to do is survive the night without getting killed. Make it 5 nights and you win. Hence the name, Five Nights at Freddy's. You may die over and over again with no clue what you're doing wrong, but once you get the hang of it, it's actually pretty addicting. Pixel Ripped, 1995. Man, I've been looking for a reason to talk about this game on my channel for a long time. And since I just said fuck it to fitness stuff and threw it out the window to talk about the 90s nostalgia that I love deep down inside, this is a perfect time to bring it up. This is one of my all-time favorite games for the Quest 2, along with its DLC, Pixel Ripped 1989, which is not as good, but still a blast to play through. You play as young David, and your friend, aka the neighborhood dickhead kid who's jealous of your radical skills, kind of harasses you along the way.
Look who's here. Come to ask for my help, you doll. Oh, hi, Mr. Keen.
Your dad is a complete enabler.
Hey, ready to go, champ? Oh, you got your game. Let me take that for you.
Your mom thinks video games are going to give you cancer.
Your aunt read in a magazine that playing games at night will burn your retina. Do you want a burned retina, David?
Oh wow, this is hitting very close to home, actually. While the game starts slow, feeling much like a retro game simulator, your reality begins mixing with the game. I don't want to give away too much. However, if you're a fan of retro gaming and reliving your childhood because today sucks and it would be so nice to get through a single month without a war or a death of Betty White or a pandemic or another shared trauma that we all have to internalize and pretend like nothing is happening and everything is fine, while literally the world burns and we're constantly bombarded with news from every angle like some sick and twisted media-driven bang bus, then you may like this game. But play it past the first level, because that's where it gets really good. It's just very obvious that a lot of love and care was taken into creating this game. And if you're someone like me who grew up in the 90s, it's gonna really tickle your nostalgia bone, like hard. Tetris Effect Connected. I won't spend too much on this one because I have done an entire video dedicated to Tetris Effect, but Tetris has been a staple of puzzle video games for close to 40 years. Yes, you heard that correct. Tetris came out in 1984, and the fact that it's still around in one form or another is incredible, and a testament to just how good it is. And while the nostalgia aesthetic may not be very present in this game alone, at the end of the day, it's still Tetris. And Tetris is one of my favorite childhood puzzle games. Right there with Dr. Mario and Snood. Hell yeah, I said Snood. I'm digging deep in the nostalgia bin for these references. And number 1, drum roll please. Liteboxer. No folks, that isn't a typo. Wait a minute, yes it is. It's a typo. Sorry about that. Number 1, Path of the Warrior. This is one of my favorite games to play on the Quest 2, and it just oozes nostalgia from every single hole. I did a video about this recently, and why it's one of the best games to ever exist, and you can check that out right here by clicking this link. It's one of these. My name is Ari with FitPro VR, and don't forget to get your workout in today.